Oneindia was 15 when her mother died. She went to live with her uncle, a pastor. He raped her constantly. She has had 8 abortions, all from untrained providers.
At some point, I was scared for my life. At some point, I was scared that maybe these practices might damage my womb or something. I was scared that I might die at the process. You don't want to know the amount of hate I had for myself. For so long, I hated myself.
That happens to her. And when
Dorothy Njamenza runs a crisis shelter for women like Oneindia. She's a well-known activist championing a rather unpopular cause: access to safe abortions for all. Over 6,000 women in Nigeria die annually from abortion complications. There is no official data, but medical experts say most deaths result from unsafe abortions. You advocate for access to safe abortions to women and girls in Nigeria, also knowing fully well that a lot of people will not agree with your position. So why do you advocate for that?
abortions are needed. In the cases of rape, you don't force people who have been raped, that have been exposed to that trauma, to keep pregnancies arising from rape. We have high levels of suicides, from people who are forced to keep pregnancies from rape. On our watch list now, majority of the people on suicide watch are minors.
As part of her activism, she and her staff are producing a social media campaign to help women learn about safe abortions. They aim to reach women without much access to reproductive health.
I see children carrying pregnancies to term that have no business, carrying pregnancies, and then we're looking for people to fix them.
Nika gave birth as a minor. She wanted an abortion but couldn't access one. The birth caused catastrophic damage to her body. 2 years later, she still hasn't healed completely.
I gave birth vaginally, but then they had to cut down to the end. And the baby still didn't come out, so they had to pull her out. After a week, the nurses found that somewhere around there opened, so they had to close it back. Most times I feel pain there. Sometimes you feel itch around that side. But all these things wouldn't have happened if I had that abortion service. I would have written my exam. I feel like somehow my life is still at a pause.
The debate in Nigeria continues whether to allow abortions legally. One thing that many agree on is that the laws haven't stopped women from getting abortions. Instead, most end up in the hands of non-professionals, putting their lives at risk.